If we move even partially to cloud services, it could have a tremendous impact on our IT department. Let's discuss this in detail in this nugget. Overall, notice that there's this kind of overwhelming paradigm shift that's going to start occurring as we move more and more services to cloud. You see, we're going to be concerned less about resource availability, and that tended to be a common concern in traditional IT environments, and we'll be much more concerned about service reliability. Remember, reliability is related to availability, but reliability says not only is the resource there, but is it performing like it should? This is going to tie into, of course, those service level agreements or SLAs that we're going to engage in. So it's reliability over just simple resource availability. Remember, when we say resource availability in a traditional environment, we're talking about things like, do we have enough CPU cores? Do we have enough RAM? If we move to cloud services, those things start becoming more plentiful for us, much more abundant, and it's the reliability that we're getting that is that primary concern. Now, a set of processes, a standardized set of processes that we can use to help us when it comes to managing and operating and planning our IT infrastructure are the ITIL standards. And ITIL defines a life cycle. We'll get into more detail about ITIL and cloud in the very next nugget, but let me just kind of guide you through how, if we're following an ITIL life cycle, let's just talk for a moment about some changes that we might see as we go through the phases that ITIL identifies. There's service strategy, service design, service operation, and service transition. When it comes to the overall service strategy, we are very much interested in cloud in the levels of elasticity. This might be something we hadn't really thought much of in the traditional environment. We would over-provision typically and have a bunch of servers running not that busy. And that was a bunch of wasted capacity. But with the ITIL cloud type service strategy, we're interested in making sure that things can easily and automatically scale up and down as needed. When it comes to service design, one of our big concerns is how can we rapidly provision, and how would we go in and manually provision new services and resources? That's going to change when we go to cloud. As far as operation goes, we're very concerned in the cloud about will things be on demand when we need them? And then finally, when it comes to service transition, maybe replacing one service and going with another service, we are often interested in, can we do this as speedily as other companies are doing with their cloud implementations? Remember, a great advantage of cloud should be that you can change and adapt much more quickly than you could in traditional environments. So as we're moving to cloud, we start worrying much more about service reliability compared to resource availability. And in this nugget, we discussed the service strategy, service design, service operation, and service transition, ITIL life cycle phases. And we just kind of, pointed out how aspects of this are going to change when it comes to our IT department, and we'll start worrying about things like on-demand availability and elasticity, where those might not have been even dreamt of in traditional environments. I hope you found this nugget informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.